Exclamation, everybody, and welcome back to Cube Ramblings. For me, it is a Sunday morning, December the 13th, 2015. Hope everyone has had an excellent week. I have been getting back on track. It's amazing how having just a hard drive failure, some technical issues would just kind of throws you off your game quite a bit. But I am very, very slowly trying to get back into the swing of things. It's going to take a little while longer. I spent most of today, about, I would say 6-7 hours today, working on a new computer, and I still have more to do with it. I haven't wired it up for power yet, but I got most, if not all, the stuff in there. It's just after a while, my hands start cramping and everything else because it's just trying to squeeze into the small spaces and leaning over it and trying to balance the thing that you're holding plus a flashlight and all these other things. It's after a while it just gets very frustrating. You're like, okay, I gotta put this aside for right now and pick it up again in the morning. So that's what I did. But that'll be good. Should hopefully tomorrow have my new computer up and running. I have the current one is back into operation. I'm just still initializing all of my tweaks that I've made over the years. So the videos may look a little bit weird, or maybe not the same quality, hopefully a little bit better quality than they used to be. Like I said, I lost all my settings, but I'm trying to sort of tweak them again and make sure that I'm doing the best that I can with that. Plus, there were a few things that I was holding off on that I decided to just do, as far as like recording my voice at say 96 kilohertz instead of the 44.1 that I was doing it in. So things like that, I think, hopefully should add some more quality to it, as well as it might take me a little while to get some of the tweaks back that I had previously, but so far so good. It did take about 4.5 hours to render out the final episode of Victor Vran, which went up very, very late today. I wanted it to, or Saturday I should say, I wanted it to go up in its normal morning slot, but I was up recording or live streaming Paladins on Friday for the Friday live stream. Also struggled to get the streaming stuff together again, but I think I got it. And I was right after that, I wanted to sit down and edit and stuff, but I was just out of it. Just couldn't do it. So I ended up having to render and edit that this morning, and then while that was rendering, I was working on the computer, and so that's why it went up so very, very late. But it's out there. Hopefully, everybody who is waiting for it can get their hands on it and get their eyeballs looking at it. So it is the finale. I did just finish that up. I like the game. I am a bit critical of it because there were parts of it that I felt like the game dragged on a little bit too long and didn't have enough enough stuff at the end. Like it was just like you were fighting the same monsters over and over and over again, and the bosses were kind of predictable, and the boss battles took a while longer than they probably should have, those kinds of things. But I still very much enjoyed it, and I still like the game. I'm pretty well done with it at this point. I mean, there's more content in there that I could play, but I think I'll take a break from it. I probably won't record any more of it. It's pretty much done. I mean, I finished the main story, so we have that there. But I don't think I'll go back to it anytime soon. If I do, it'll be something that I do just on my own, off camera, whenever I need to, blow off a little bit of steam and try to, just be completely overwhelmed by by enemies on screen. So that's what's been going on there. Loving the heck out of Paladins, let me tell you. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Streamed about 2 hours, maybe 2 hours of it on Friday night, and it's I just the latest patch they put out, it feels really good. It really does. There's still some things here and there that I think they're probably going to have to tweak, and there's still one hero that they haven't introduced yet. There's 9 heroes right now. There's going to be 10 because there's another slot for one. And rumor has it, some people have gone and data mined for stuff. Rumor has it that the 10th. Well, I shouldn't say final, but the 10th hero is going to be a pirate, possibly, as well as I think they found like 2 additional maps or something that are being worked on. So I cannot wait for that. Like I said, I'm enjoying it. I just hit level 10 off camera a couple hours ago. Every day I've been playing like a little bit, just a few matches here and there, just a couple pickup matches and being done with it. So I like that the matches are like 15 to 20, well, 10 to 15 minutes now. So I can get maybe 2 matches in and then I'm good, and I just do other things. I'm not spending inordinate amount of time on it. So I can't say enough about that game. I really enjoy it. So I'm waiting to I'm hoping that it gets out to a wider audience, and everybody else feels similar to it, I suppose. I don't have much else I can say about that. So I guess we can get into the business here. There was a few Cube World updates that came out this week from Wale's Twitter. News updates, I should say. Mostly he says he's working on the quests. There's a new type of quest called Grand Quests, which are denoted by swords above the quest givers' heads, and the color of the sword denotes the rarity of it, with purple being the epic variety. In addition to that, Wale was improving the random quest lines with what he's calling procedural quest bricks, which are basically little bits and pieces of objectives that get thrown into Blender and generated out, and that way you get sort of a randomish bunch of objectives for your particular quests, for normal quests that are just generated on the fly. And I assume there's going to be I added the word procedural in there because I assume there's going to be some sort of algorithm that says, oh, here's ones that are compatible, here's quest bricks that are compatible with one another, and here's ones that aren't, and just try to pick the ones that make the most sense, but also keep it random. So that is all that she wrote as far as the Cube World news updates go for this week. I have a lot of things, a lot of like lists and other things to go through here, so I'm going to be kind of hopefully moving through some of this relatively rapidly. So first of all, we'll start with, let's get some news here. Minecraft Story Mode. It's been announced that episode 4 will be coming on December the 22nd. I will, as always, be playing that, even though it hasn't really been that great of a story. For something called Story Mode, you think it'd have a pretty good story, but it's been lackluster to this point. But I will, since I have the whole season pass, I figure I might as well just record all of it. There is rumors that the episode 5 will be coming in early January, probably, or well, not early January, but in January at least. So they want to sort of wrap this thing up as quickly as possible, wrap up the first season of it. I don't know if there will be a second season. Nobody has mentioned anything. If there is, I would hope that they spend more time on the writing aspects of it, honestly, and character development and all those things. So that is that. Also, another like quick hitter here. Nexus Mods. You may or may not be familiar with this if you've ever downloaded mods for like Skyrim or Fallout 4 or other games of that nature. There's two like predominantly major sites to get mods from, Mod DB being one of them, and Nexus Mods being the probably the largest one and most recognizable one. Well, there was a suspected database breach of Nexus Mods last week. I'll link you to a Destructoid article that gives you some vague details. Don't quite know everything that has happened just yet, but out of an abundance of caution, the operator of Nexus Mods is asking people to kind of, go in. If you have an account there, just go change your password and be done with it. It seems like from the little drips and drabs of information that I've gotten that it's more of there might have been an older database that was breached, or at least a shard of an older database, and some DLLs some mysterious DLL was added to like 3 different projects. What projects was it added to here? Let's see what it says. Higher settlement budget. It was added into downloads from December 5th. Renamed Dog Meat from December 4th, and Better Build from November 29th. So if you've downloaded any of those mods since those dates, you may want to go download a fresh copy of it, because it might have some suspicious DLL in it that nobody quite knows what it's doing, and it hasn't tripped off any virus, scanners or anything like that, as far as I know. But just want to keep that in mind, bear that in mind. Also, change your passwords. It sounds like there must have been a password hashing / salting change that happened possibly after 2013, because it sounds like anybody who's had their password or has changed their password since 2013 probably is okay, but people before that probably not. But it's always a good idea to change your passwords routinely anyway, every couple months. If you use something like LastPass like I do, it'll actually tell you how long it's been since you've last changed your password, and for some sites it will actually automatically change it for you. Not too many yet, but they've got quite a few in there. I was surprised to see some of them that it comes up with. So out of abundance of caution, if you do have something and you have downloaded stuff from Nexus Mods, just keep an eye on it. Make sure nothing nefarious is going on there. Another quick hitter here in Overwatch news. I'm going to link you to Eurogamer for this, because they actually have an interview with a rather extensive interview with the producer of Overwatch, ? I believe he's a producer. And they go into detail about, they ask a bunch of questions about the sort of future, what direction Overwatch is going in, so on and so forth. And also to explain some of the, what their plans are. And I'll give you a little spoiler. They don't really have too many plans set in stone yet. But some of the things that they did want to address with the community is, people were afraid that since we don't know how they're going to monetize this yet, the ongoing monetization is going to be on Overwatch, that you would have to pay for maps and possibly for new heroes. They have come out and said that, nope, that's not going to be a thing. That's not going to happen. All the new maps and all, heroes that come down the pike will be free. And in fact, when pressed for how they were going to do some monetization, like were they going to sell skins or so on and so forth, their answer basically was, we don't know yet. We have no idea what our long-term monetization is going to be for this. So for right now, everything seems on the up and up. I can't wait to actually get my hands on it. I have pre-ordered it already, but I have not been selected for the beta. And actually, the beta is going into hiatus for about a month and a half, I think they say. They're targeting mid-January for it to return. But they did say that if there's a few things that they really, really want in the open beta, that they will push it back into February. But right now, everything is on track for that deadline that they've said. So that's the Overwatch stuff. Also, Hitman, the new Hitman game, which I believe is the one that has the online sort of contract mode where you get sort of like a kind of like a GTA-ish, maybe not GTA-ish, but a thingamabob where you get more content as time goes on, and you can get contracts and all that stuff with the online component and go out and do your thing. I was kind of trying to compare it to like the GTA 5, what do they call them, heists, I think. I would imagine it's something like that, but I haven't really looked too much into it. But that is supposed to be coming. There's going to be a beta. So the full game itself is, I believe, going to be in, March 11th is when the full game is supposed to come. But the beta is going to be coming sometime in February. And it's going to do a special, like, flashback. Rather than giving you any spoilers for the main game, it's going to show you a mission on how the Hitman himself joined the company that he was, or how he was recruited into the company. And you actually, you meet, it shows you what the reaction was like when he met his longtime handler, Diana Burnwood, and a few other things. So if you're a fan of the story of Hitman, then this is probably a really cool beta that you want to get in on. It's supposed to come February 19th for the PC, which is going to be a week after its release for the consoles. But you can go possibly take a look at it. Pre-ordering the game will guarantee you beta access, of course, because that's the way they all seem to roll anymore. I don't know if there's a way to get in on the beta without that. I imagine there probably is, because they'll want to get as many people as they can to wet their whistle and possibly, pick up and pre-order as they go. So I'll link you to a Rock Paper Shotgun article that talks a little bit more about it, but not much more than what I've said there. I've pretty much summed up what was there. What else we have on like quick hitters here? Quick hitters. There's apparently Platinum Games, the makers of most recently of Transformers Devastation, which was a fantastic game, especially if you like the old school Transformers and grew up with the old school Transformers like I did. That was fantastic. Apparently, they are also going to start working on a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle game. Yes, and I have my fingers crossed. I am hoping that it's going to be the Turtles that I know and love, not the newer ones, but the older ones from what was that? That was the 80s, right? Late 80s that the Turtles were on. I think it was the late 80s. I want those. I want those from the cartoons from that time, if you would please. Since Platinum has done that already for Transformers Devastation, I would really hope that they would do that for the Turtles. Of course, for all we know, it might be just the movie ones, or the going old school with the comic book ones that were like sort of had a few screws loose. I just like the happy-go-lucky ones of the animated series, the first animated series. But I'll keep my fingers crossed on that one. I'll link you to another Rock Paper Shotgun article that talks a little bit about that. But again, that's all rumors right now. So we don't know anything more that is going on with that. All right, so I'll get into some of the longer things here. The Humble Bundles, the Humble folks have been rather busy. I got a couple things to hit on there. First of all, there's a Humble Neo Geo bundle going on right now. It's the Humble Neo Geo bundle for 25th anniversary of the Neo Geo, and you can get literally like freaking they're saying $167 worth of Neo Geo games, which I guess would be $167 in today's money. I don't even know, because it's back in the day, the Neo Geo games were, along with the console, were rather expensive. So I don't know how they came up with that particular number, but there's a lot of stuff in here, and it's a lot of classic stuff. Most of them are emulated, and in fact, most of them you can play right in your browser. There's an emulator right there for it. Some of them have Steam keys, so you can play it from Steam. The one little gotcha here is that, and I read this online, apparently a lot of the ROMs that are being used that are part of this bundle are ROMs that you can get for free. So you're literally paying for something that you could get for free. I mean, it's the exact same dump and all that stuff. People far more knowledgeable than me have said that. I personally don't care, because those ROMs are technically illegal unless you own a copy. And if the folks behind Neo Geo are going to be like, hey, here's a ROM, but here's a legitimate copy of it, I would be more than willing to put my money towards that. Although, to be fair, I did, change the donation amount and gave more to charity this time around than to the devs and stuff. So you can also do that too if you really wish it. But a bunch of things in here. There's Art of Fighting 2, Fatal Fury Special, King of the Monsters, Metal Slug 2, Samurai Showdown 2, Shengoku 3, The King of Fighters 2000, and Baseball Stars 2. I really wish the original Baseball Stars was on there, but I guess that was SNK, not the Neo Geo stuff. I imagine. I remember playing the original Baseball Stars on the NES. I love that game, but it was hard as balls. It was really difficult. So I'm kind of curious as to what Baseball Stars 2 is like. If you pay more than the average, which is right now $9.40, you get The Last Blade, Pulse Star, Metal Slug 3, Shock Troopers, and Neo Turf Masters. It looks like also the King of the Fighters 98 Ultimate Match Final Edition, Twinkle Star Sprites, Neo Geo 25th Anniversary soundtrack, and then there's more games still that haven't been announced yet. If you pay $10 or more, you get Shock Troopers The Second Squad, Samurai Showdown 5 Special, Garu, Mark of the Wolves. I don't know how, am I pronouncing that right? G-A-R-O-U? I have no idea. And Metal Slug X or 10, I don't know, whatever the one it is. And the King of Fighters 2002 Unlimited Match. You can also get a t-shirt if you pay for $40, but there's a lot cheaper t-shirts out there than that. So that's that bundle. That actually looks like a really cool bundle. I've already put my $20 down on it, but it's given all these classic games, if you ever wanted to play some of these classic games that you've heard about but never actually have played, like I've heard a lot about like Metal Slug, and I played King of the Monsters, but I played it in the arcade, because remember, this Neo Geo system was like an arcade system pretty much. It's just an arcade for your home rather than a big arcade cabinet. So I've played King of the Monsters as an arcade game, but not the Neo Geo version or anything like that. And what else on here? I mentioned Baseball Stars. Pulse Star, I don't remember. I remember something about that, but I don't remember everything. And that's about all. That's about all I can talk about. The King of Fighters was also one I think I played in the arcades, if I'm not mistaken. But there you go. There's that. And then in addition to that, and I forgot to mention this last week, so I'll mention it this week. The Humble Monthly happened. It happens on the first Friday of every month, and I'm still part of it because the first month on November was actually a really good one as far as the games that they packaged in. And I wanted to talk about the games that they packaged this month in December. So starting out with Banished. Not bad. Not a bad choice. I didn't have it myself, so I figured, this is pretty good for me. Rust is the next one. Yeah. Not really my cup of tea. Especially, with all the problems they've had with Rust and development and all that stuff, but still not really something that I care too much for. Payday 2, that's pretty good. They also had a bunch of the DLC, so the playable character Dragan, Big Bank, and Gauge Assault Pack are also part of that. And Neon Struck. This was actually a game that I wanted to purchase myself, but it's part of this bundle, so there we go. Stealth game, it makes no compromises. It's an indie stealth game. I had my eye on it for a little bit, and then I lost track of it. It released at some point, and then I just I haven't gotten back around to it again. So I want to see what that's like. Chroma Squad. Oh, you guys remember this one. I still have to finish that game. I have to get back to it again. But that's a tactical RPG. Unfortunately, I already have this, so it's still a very good game. So this is the first duplicate that I've gotten so far in a monthly bundle yet. But that's cool still. It's still a cool little thing to have. And Company of Heroes 2 was the last one in the monthly bundle, including the DLC for the Western Front Armies and the British Forces. So this is an RTS game. I've heard a lot about Company of Heroes, how it was a really good game. I've just never actually played it myself. So this was a good one for me because I just wanted to be able to experience some of these games that I've never, I've always thought hey, maybe I should buy that, but then I never really put the money down for it. And now it's getting it as part of a bundle. Actually, I might end up playing a little bit of it to see what it's like. And then we get a bonus sneak peek of Shadwen, which is the upcoming stealth game from Frozen Byte. I have not looked at any of these yet at all because of everything that's been going on my computer, but I did just today redeem a lot of my keys that were just kind of sitting around in my Humble Bundle account from various other Humble Bundles. And I hit the limit in Steam for the number of successful keys you can do in a certain period. I don't know what the period is. I don't know if it's a day or if it's just a few hours or a few minutes. I don't know. But yeah, Steam was like, hey, because I went to put one in after I put in 30 previous ones, and Steam's like, yeah, you need to chill out a little bit. We can't activate this right now because you've had too many successful activations in this time period. So that's hilarious, but it's understandable too. You don't want people spamming your API and all that stuff, but I've never hit that wall before. That's my own fault for leaving things hanging around in my Humble Bundles for many months and years. But yeah, that was the December one. So waiting to see what January looks like, and they all come out in the first Friday of each month. So I'll still hang on to it for another month and see how it goes. If I get a month where either the quality is not very good or it's all duplicates or something like that, then I'll probably end up canceling. But right now, so far, so good, my friends. So far, so good on the Humble monthly bundles. What else we got here? So, let me clean up a few things there. The IndieDB every year does Indie of the Year voting and awards. And right now we're in the midst of the voting process for Indie of the Year. There is, as of my talking right now, about 7 days left for people to go out and vote for what they like as far as who should get awards for each different category. So they have right now on the page for it, they've got released games and upcoming games. And you can vote for all the different categories. So like in Adventure for released games, they've got the nominations were for Dropsy, Soma, and Terratech. I don't know what Dropsy is. It says it's an open world adventure game with emphasis on survival, atmospheric elements, and environmental storytelling. I don't think I've ever looked at Dropsy. I know Terratech. In fact, I think I own Terratech. Soma, I know, is a single-player horror game, which would be up my alley, because it's sci-fi and stuff. But horror genre is one of those things where I don't usually jump at it. I might eventually grab it, but not anytime soon. Under the first-person shooter for released games, they've got Angels Fall First. I have this, I believe, but I haven't quite figured out how to work it yet. You know what I mean? It's kind of a weird one. It's like I haven't quite figured out how to play the game yet. And this says that it's released, but I swear that it's still in early access, but I might be wrong. I might be confusing this with a different game. So there's that. You got that's nominated for first-person shooter category. Black Mesa, Eden Star, Reflex. Eden Star I actually did a side quest video on many moons ago. It's actually changed quite a bit since then. I think I wanted to jump back into that at some point. Black Mesa is actually it was a free mod, I think, for that someone was doing for Half-Life 1, I believe, and they were allowed to, via Valve, allowed to actually sell it, and they've completely revamped it and everything else. It's not too bad looking if you're into the Half-Life stuff. Reflex, I don't know what that is. Spooky's House of Jump Scares, The Isle, and Verdun. I have Verdun. I have not played it at all. It's a multiplayer FPS, and it's apparently really difficult, like, one-shot kill kind of thing. So that's usually one of those things where I'm like, I could possibly do this, but I'll probably be completely terrible at it. Under tactical shooters, the nominations they've got so far are for Insurgency, Renegade X, and Robocraft. Have I played Robocraft? I don't think I've played Robocraft at all. That's an MMO. It looks like. Insurgency, I've heard about. I don't know if I've played that. Under racing, it's just Rocket League. That's it. So I imagine Rocket League is going to win the racing category for released games, but we'll see. I forget how they do this. I don't know if every category gets something, or if it's really just they're all competing for one or not, and they just put it into categories so you could see them. I don't remember. Every year it's usually the same every year, but my memory is not that good. Under role playing, they've got the nominees are Ark Survival Evolved, Kingdoms, Novus, Inceptio, 3D MMO RPG post-apocalyptic fantasy sci-fi game. Its goal is to create a complex and fully independent world, regardless of the number of active players. Hardcore survival action. Yeah, I see. I don't like hardcore survival. I don't really. I'm not even liking survival anymore too much these days. Project Zomboid. Shopkeep, The Age of Decadence, and Undertale. Interesting. Real-time strategy. The nominations they've got out here that you can vote on are Chroma Squad, or I'm sorry, Cannibal Chroma Squad, Life is Hard, the game, OpenRA. What is that? Open source reimplementation of Westwood's Command and Conquer Red Alert game engine. Ooh, so it's an open source version of Red Alert, Command and Conquer Red Alert. So there you go. Prison Architect and Shallow Space. And then under turn-based strategy, they've got Armello, which actually looks like a really cool game. It's like a board game done electronically. I've put it on my wish list. It's one of those things that I'd like to get to at some point, but not today. Battle Brothers, which I actually own. It's really difficult. It's really difficult. It's a turn-based strategy RPG mix. It's over the head, top down. It's tactical turn-based RPG, and you have a whole, I guess, brotherhood of fighters that you recruit along the way, and you do these little quests, and it's got like sort of it's almost a roguelite kind of thing to it as well, kind of, where all of your people's stats are randomly rolled, so you can get somebody who's like a kleptomaniac kind of thing going on. I wanted to do a video of that. I have not done one yet because I was struggling just to figure out how to play the game. It's kind of difficult when you try to play it. Thea the Awakening is also the third one that is nominated for turn-based strategy. Platformer. Got Ben and Ed, Black Hole. Explore the world hidden inside a black hole and overcome the rules of gravity by turning the world on its sides. Solve all mysteries. I guess it's like a gravity, so it's like a puzzle platformer dealing with gravity mechanics is what it sounds like. The Purring Quest is the third one on that. Fighting games. We got Gang Beasts. I've never heard of that before. Skara the Blade Remains. Skara is a competitive hack and slash developed independently with Unreal 4. Team up with or against your friends and complete for dominance. Okay, so it's definitely totally multiplayer or co-op. Yeah, and no single player, doesn't look like. All right. Realistic Sims. Besiege. We were just talking about that earlier. Medieval Engineers or TubeStar. The hell is that? TubeStar is YouTube simulator where you manage channels and try to become an internet video star, earn enough ad income to quit your job, or pollute the internet with videos so bad they have to be shared. Well, I think we know what my next video is going to be. I have never heard of this. I'm going to write this down and probably go look that up. Okay. So anyway, go over to Combat Sim, Vector Thrust. That's the only one in there. Fast-paced cell shading flying action. That actually looks fairly interesting. I'd be down with a Combat Sim at times. Futuristic Sims, Empyrean Galactic Survival, which has had a recent couple of patches that have changed the starting game and quite a bit. So I have to get back into that at some point and really re-immerse myself in it and maybe actually do something more than just a few episodes here and there. RimWorld, I've heard a lot about this. It's a sort of top-down, survival sim in the future. It's interesting. It's in my wheelhouse, but not necessarily something that I would want to play because I haven't quite seen, from the videos I've seen of it, I haven't quite seen anything yet that's like, aha, I must play this. It's more like, Aha, I must watch somebody else play this for right now. So that's what I've been doing. I've been watching Paul Soares Jr. play it. He's the only one that I know of right now that I follow that's been playing it occasionally. And Space Engineers is on there. Virtual Life. Hacknet. Oh, I did a side quest video on that. I wonder. Okay, Virtual Life, huh? I didn't know that was a category, but there you go. And that's just a little hacker simulator kind of thing. Soccer, we've got Manager League, never heard of it. Point and Click, we've got Five Nights at Candy's, that's interesting. Five Nights at Freddy's 3 and Five Nights at Freddy's 4, the final chapter. Well, I hope you like Five Nights, because that's all you got for Point and Click. Stealth is Master Spy, and roguelike, we've got ADOM, Ancient Domains of Mystery. I've been actually following this. I think this might be an interesting one. It's a roguelike and with RPG, a true role-playing experience. So I've been trying to figure out exactly what it is, but I've had this on my list of like, keep an eye on this and see how this fleshes out. Tales of Mahjong. Don't know what that is. Single player roguelike is all it says. Well, this is the roguelike category. Random dungeons facing, couldn't tell you. Unreal World is the other one nominated for this. In a world inspired by Iron Age Finland, you can track animals, set traps, cook food, sleep in a temporary shelter, and try to survive. So it's basically your survival sandbox, as it tends to be. And then for their upcoming games, they've got under adventure, they've got Chicken, open world sandbox game where you create life block by block. I haven't quite figured this out yet. I think this is like a, it strikes me as a kind of Spore-esque thing, but it's maybe not with the intergalactic stuff. So if you're into like that kind of thing, maybe you want to keep an eye on Chicken. It's spelled CHKN, all caps. Epistory. I've been following this one. This one sounds really cool. An action adventure game where you're a girl riding a red fox, giant red fox, to fight off insects, an insect invasion. Faceless. Don't know what that is. Hull breach. I just saw this pop up a little bit earlier. You're trapped in a wrecked ship. You have to struggle to stay alive, salvage what you need to repair, and close many breaches, slowly ripping the hull open. It's like horror, single-player horror, sci-fi horror, it sounds like. But that's what that is. Scrap Mechanic. Don't know what that is. Birdcage. And The Town of Light. And then for upcoming games in first-person shooter, I got Lost Squad, which is a source engine-based game about what happened to Barney Calhoun after Half-Life 2 Episode 1 events and why he was not in Half-Life 2 Episode 2. So there you go. Lost Story, The Last Days of Earth. Is 7-hour war. First-person shooter. I don't know. Don't know what that is. Mordhau? Mordhau? Is that how you pronounce that? Mordhau? Is a multiplayer first-person shooter, so that's looks like Medieval Knights. There's a Medieval Knight on the cover, so I assume it's a lot of swordplay. Our Last Stand, set in the Indonesian country. An unknown disease has come to your city. You and all survivors of the disease that left behind trapped in the quarantine city. Okay, so I assume you're going to be probably single-player zombie shooter, probably. Project Frequency, open world survival horror. Horror game. It's heavily inspired by old school games such as Silent Hill and Resident Evil. Well, since we're not getting another Silent Hill for a while and probably not a Resident Evil for a while, maybe this will be something you want to take a look at if you're fans of those games. It says single and co-op first person. And Star Wars Battle Cry. It's a spiritual successor to Star Wars Battlefront 2. So if you are confused by Star Wars Battlefront that is currently out now, that's nothing like Battlefront, the original Battlefront was. Maybe this one, Star Wars Battle Cry, might be the thing. I wonder if they have all the licenses for that. For tactical shooter, Squad. Squad is an independent tactical multiplayer shooter with a heavy focus on teamwork, communication, and realism. Rigors of modern day combat. Yeah, I don't know anything about that. Under racing, it's just Racecraft. Sandbox driving game based on procedural technology where you create an endless number of realistic racetracks and craft your car to achieve the best. So you got to craft the racetracks and the car. I'm not sure about that. It says single and multiplayer racing, so I guess you could download tracks? Question mark? Role-playing, Corpses and Souls. A massive 2D Metrovania fused with Diablo-like ARPG elements. Interesting. I guess it's like a take on Ghouls and Ghosts. Instead it's Corpses and Souls. Death Trash. What is this? Death Trash is a modern post-apocalyptic role-playing game with influences of cyberpunk, science fiction, horror, the grotesque, and trash talk humor. That is a motley crew of adjectives right there, my friends. You can't. I don't think I've ever read a sentence with that many weirdly put together adjectives in it. But there you go. It features a world full of dialogue and interesting characters, item crafting, and real-time combat. Single and co-op role-playing. Dogma. Eternal Night. What is this? MMORPG with gothic punk and horror. Nope. Okay, no thanks. So it's vampires and other mythical creatures. Oh, okay, so it's like a Victor Vran only MMO. Okay. Or probably more like a Van Helsing only MMO. Exoplanet First Contact. This is a game that I've actually backed on Kickstarter, I think. I think I have that on that. Action RPG game set in a space western world. Oh, yes, this is definitely the one. This looks really cool. The devs put out a video of this a while ago where they were running through their version of the game, and it's got like you run around and catharsis, I guess is how they pronounce it, and it's I'm trying to think of what I could compare it to, and I'm coming up with very little in my brain right now. It looks a little bit like it's kind of like a Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic kind of thing. Like a KOTOR or both. But in a Western setting that is also sci-fi, and it has a little bit of like an MMO-ish feel to it too, even though it's single player. So I'm struggling to find the right way to explain it, but that's about the best I could do. FNAF World, featuring the entire cast from Five Nights at Freddy's series' fantasy RPG, will let players control their favorite animatronics in an epic animated adventure. Okay. Hearts of Oak, Conquest of the Seas. I've been keeping an eye on this. I actually have the demo of it, but it's so early that it's almost not playable right now. But it's a PC game that they're developing where you're basically historical seafaring. So you get onto clipper ships and all that stuff, and you can sail around and do some gameplay both on land and at sea. And it's going to be completely free. They're not going to make it commercial. So you might want to keep an eye on it. It's still like the version that's out there right now is nigh on unplayable. It's just not really, there's nothing to it. You just walk around a map and just fall into the volcano, and it doesn't kill you or anything. So that's what I've done with that so far. Jinx Womb of Cosmos. An amalgam of the 8 or 16-bit nostalgia of turn-based RPGs like Final Fantasy, Breath of Fire, Phantasy Star, and others, combined with the graphic style of titles like Neverwinter Nights, a challenging combat system, and an intense story-driven gameplay. All right. Well, you got me interested, so I'll have to look at that. Mountain Blade 2 Bannerlord, sandbox action RPG strategy hybrid, which I actually own. I own Mountain Blade because I heard that it was really, really good. I have it on GOG, I think. And I haven't played, I played maybe like 5 minutes of it. I haven't really had the time to dig into it because it looks like it's really involved at some point, but I've heard, that it's rather fantastic if you can just wrap your brain around it. So I'm kind of curious about that kind of thing. Samu Tale, 3D sandbox MMO RPG. Village building, player housing, survival, farming and livestock, full loot, PvP, blah, blah, blah. It's been done like 90 times by now. Trove and other things. The Skies MMO role-playing. The Skies is an upcoming post-apocalyptic MMO RPG. Clan wars, non-linear dialogues and quests, arena combats, unique role system, and just make me go to sleep even more. I'm sorry. I'm just not. There's so many Me Too's right now. It's like there's no way that, unless you've got some kitsch, something that's going to be completely different than everything else, it's going to be really hard to get anything but a yawn out of me. Wild Terra, another MMO role-playing game. Wild Terra Online is a life simulator in a fully player-driven medieval world, along with all the other fully player-driven medieval worlds and life simulations and stuff. But that's that. And then real-time strategy, Zero AD, Empire's Ascendant. Wildfire Games, I don't know exactly what that entails, other than it's going to be a historical one, or ancient history one, I should say. Ardent Seas, naval real-time strategy game. Player starts with a flagship and the goal is to destroy the enemy flagships. So, battleships, kind of? That's not too bad. Baizen 1811, no idea. No idea at all. Global Conflagration. Take control of the battlefield using the deadliest weaponry and units in a clash between two powers. Yeah. It looks like, from the animated GIF, it looks like it's a, I don't know, like a, not tower defense, but almost like a Worms type of thing, right? Or it's like people shooting at each other, except it's top down, not side. So I don't know about that. Rogue Republic. It's a CNC Generals inspired game. Okay. What else we got here? Combat Sim. War of Rights. Set during the American Civil War, War of Rights brings players in the midst of several famous battles. Multiplayer combat sim. Interesting. Futuristic Sims. Planet Nomads, a sci-fi sandbox game of creation and survival on procedurally generated planets. So basically everything else, right? It's like Empyrean, galactic survival. It's like Space Engineers, kind of. Probably going to be a little bit like, what's that other one that's coming out? Yeah, I can't remember the name of it now. A few others of that magnitude. Star Trek Excalibur. I've been actually keeping tabs on this guy. It's kind of like it's looking like it's going to be kind of a bridge simulator, bridge commander kind of thing, like Star Trek Bridge Commander. But they're way early right now, so it's hard to tell anything. Stargate Network, another one I'm keeping an eye on that's way early. It's supposed to be an MMORPG at some point, and it's you can basically go through, and right now the demo that they have allows you to walk through the SGC from Stargate SG-1, and you look around a little bit, and then you can, if you know the coordinates, you can go dial up, I believe, Abydos, and go out there, go through Stargate, and emerge in the temple or pyramid in there, but you can't leave the pyramid. You can look around in the various rooms and stuff. So that's a thing. I that's going to take them ages. That's a labor of love right there. That's not anything that's going to get done anytime soon that I could think of. But I kind of very briefly took a look at it off camera just to see how they were coming along with it. And the Universe Sim, this I actually backed on Kickstarter. It's a god game, basically. You control, kind of, you can direct citizens on a particular planet, and you can see the whole planet view, and you can kind of direct them to like build places and maybe do a little terraforming here and there. Very light terraforming, nothing crazy. And then eventually they grow up and you kind of direct their development, and then they become spacefaring, and then they go out and try to take over other planets, and then you kind of direct them there and all that stuff. It's an interesting concept. Still extremely early yet on that. Puzzle compilation Infra. I don't know what puzzle compilation is. Just one puzzle after the other, I guess. I don't know. Third-person shooter, AQP City, the White City. Just explore stuff. It doesn't tell me anything. Beyond the Destiny, science fiction multiplayer online game with an open game universe which combines the genres of classic role-playing games, real-time strategy, and third-person shooter. That is how you tell me exactly nothing about what you're doing at all. Multiplayer third-person shooter, that's all it says, and it's a sci-fi game. Project Genome. Our team has been working, blah, blah, blah. Simulators, suicide. Yeah, that doesn't tell me anything either. So, nada on those. Arcade. Guidon's Attack on Titan fan game. Well, that's interesting. It's going to be a free Attack on Titan fan game that you can apparently vote on. Okolos, a game about an angry mob in ancient Greece. You travel all around ancient Greece and can form a very large group of angry people to fight armies, mythological creatures, and even the gods themselves. Wow. Okay. And it's an arcade game? I don't know what that's all about. And then Weekend Drive, a relaxing drive through a city being smashed by meteorites. Or being chased by a giant zombie, or just jumping a canyon. Well, that's certainly a weekend drive. I might have to look at that just for the pure fun of it. Stealth games upcoming. Dark Storm. Scientists working on experimental technologies are attacked by an unknown enemy. Chaos ensues, powers change hands, lives are lost, and that's just the beginning. A dark storm is coming. Interesting. You might have me on that. And this one, which I actually just saw an article on, but I didn't really read it. Who's Your Daddy? Multiplayer stealth. Who's Your Daddy is a casual one-on-one video game featuring a clueless father attempting to prevent his infant son from certain death. I'm just going to leave that there, and you can make your own judgments. Under the roguelike category, all that they have here is Cogmind, is sci-fi tactical combat and exploration and procedural world. I have briefly glanced at this, but it's not I mean, it's like ASCII art and stuff, and not really, not that there's anything wrong with that. It's just it was one of those things where I was like, maybe someday on my list. Turn-based tactics, Labyrinth CCG, and Tactical RPG. I don't know. Labyrinth. Labyrinth is the name of the game. It's a collectible card game. Not much else I can say about that. There's not much else in the description. Hack and slash Orbids. This is a hack and slash. Single local cooperative multiplayer game about 4 teenagers who lost in zombie parallel worlds. Okay. All right. Well, you know, if you can't do proper I was going to say proper English, but if you can't write a good summary, then something you're probably not going to get a vote for me. Awakening of Heroes, MOBA. This is a MOBA category, the only one in it. Take a leading role in a free-to-play game in which ordinary people become heroes. Yes, more MOBAs. Awesome. All right, but that is the roundup of the things that you can vote on, both in released and upcoming games. And maybe, you know, I mostly go through that list mostly so that you could hear some of the indie stuff out there and see if anything captures your attention. And actually, a few things captured my attention that I've written down along the way. But I wanted to throw that one out there. You know, it's not, you know, not the greatest of content ever, but it's there are some really good things buried in here, some good diamonds in the rough that I think could use a vote or two if you like to go over there and cast it. So there you go. That's the IndieDB Indie of the Year 2015. The voting for them. That's the nominations that I just read off, and you can go and just vote on the thing that you want to see happen or want to see get awarded some fabulous prizes. And what are we doing here? Okay, well, we're almost out of time. I actually ran through that. I kind of figured that would take the rest of the time that I had here. Plus, I'm also fading rather quickly, since it is like 1:30 now. But thanks, everybody, so much for watching. I am keeping up the pace that I can. I'm trying to get back into the swing of things. Just a little bit more patience is requested and appreciate it. But everything will be getting back to normal soonish. Again, thanks for watching, everybody, or listening on SoundCloud, and I will see you next Sunday.